Hey, welcome back. This is Dan Brzezowski. You're in the No Comfort Zone. Today's episode, I'm going to be interviewing an 11-year-old by the name of Max Brzezowski, who has the ambitions to be a better golfer than he currently is. So let's check in with Max, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Welcome.
Attention, please.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the No Comfort Zone podcast. It's time to get out of your comfort zone and live on purpose. Broadcasting to the world from Rockford, Illinois. This is your wake-up call.
Warning.
You are the solutions to all your problems. Stop thinking average. Become the hero version of yourself. Every day, every time, without fail, no exceptions. It all matters. You've entered the No Comfort Zone. It's time for a reality check.
All right, so this interview is I'm with an 11-year-old by the name of Max Brzezowski, also known as my son. He was named Max D. Brzezowski because when I named him Max, I wanted him to be, so it's Max Daniel Brzezowski. All of the greatness that I know I could be and all my potential, I wanted that to be for Max. So I named him Max, as in Maximum Daniel Brzezowski. I think that's kind of cool. Max, what do you think about that?
I did not know that until now. I think that's cool.
Some people say I could made it up, but I truly didn't. That's what I was thinking about when we named you. But let's talk about what's really important to you. What do you got going on your life right now that you're working towards currently in your life? Talk to me about that.
Right now in my life, I'm trying to be a better golfer, trying to practice more. That's about it.
How long have you been playing golf for?
3 years now.
All right. So how do you think it's progressing in 3 years?
Good, really good. I'm practicing more this year. It was really nice during the summer, so I got to practice a lot during then. Dad started golfing with me, so that's good.
I would be the dad. My son, 11-year-old, is giving me lessons on how to golf. And if anybody wants to know a funny-ass story, I will tell you this. I was trying to use the 3-iron continually, and I kept saying I want to learn the 3-iron because I watched a documentary on Netflix, and it was about Steve, and he was good with the 3-iron. So I went to the range with my son, and I'm nailing away at the 3-iron, and I'm hitting it like 120 yards. Is that about right?
Yes.
So I'm hitting it 20 yards straight. The other clubs I can't do anything with. And I'm like, Max, I should be hitting it further, and it's going too high. As we come to find out, my daughter's boyfriend is a golf instructor. I told him that the golf clubs were wrong. One was higher than the other or lower than the other. He said that's impossible. When I showed him the clubs, he said, Dan, you're doing great for using a wedge. That's about the story of my golf, and that's a real story. I was doing this for like a month, so it was really embarrassing. So the 3 and the W look the same. But enough about me. Let's talk more about Max. So, Max, here's a question for you, okay? So when you started out 3 years ago, your grandfather gets you involved in the game of golf. You start going to the driving range. You take a couple of lessons. Now you take more lessons. What do you think is the reason why you like golf so much? Why did you – I know you liked it in the beginning. It was okay. But why do you like it more so now? Talk about that.
So when you hit a really good shot, it just feels good, and you want to keep hitting that same shot over and over again. And it just is a sign of like progression that you know you're doing something right, because if you're hitting it over and over again in the right spot and the right movements and it goes really far, you know you're hitting it really well. So you just want to keep hitting it over and over again.
So repetition is the key to it, hitting it the right way and making sure that you continue those repetitions and continue to practice, right?
Yes.
So you have this winter coming up. Are you going to be able to practice at home with your clubs, even though most golf courses are closed, and obviously because of the Midwest in winter? Because this podcast, Max, goes all over the world. You know, I wanted to tell you, I don't know if you know this or not, but the month of December, I have 8,500 new listeners. And last month, I had 7,500 new listeners. So this thing's going to a lot of people all over the world. And we're currently in the Midwest, just outside of Chicago, in a little town called Rockford. And Max lives in Bloomington, as you know, if you've been listening to the show. And we see each other on the weekends. So it's going to be snowing here, and the weather's going to be bad. What are you going to do in the meantime when it comes to practicing golf?
My golf instructor works at the golf course that I go to. That golf course is still open, luckily. And he has an indoor thing. It's like a simulation of Topgolf, or a simulation of golf in general that I can go to. It tells you how fast you hit the ball, what you need to do better, if you need to turn your club face more. I don't know the right word for it, but it's like a representation of golf. It's like a video game almost.
So that's pretty decent. I think we're going to try that when you're on winter break with me. We're going to go try to find a place like that. Here's another question for you, Max. So repetition is the key to developing or becoming better at golf. Are you physically working out at 11 years old? Are you doing things like, what type of exercises are you doing? Because there might be an 11-year-old person that wants to golf out there, or a teenager, or an adult like me. What are you doing to make sure that you increase your golf game? Because I know you're not just golfing. What else are you doing?
On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go to the gym for conditioning. That's training for any sport in general. So what we start off doing is we do warm-ups. That's like, it's from like lunges 5 yards back and down to jogging 30 yards and back, high knees, shuffling, and then we get into weightlifting. And then we either run half a mile on the track. So we do training twice a week.
Okay, so here's a question for you. You know the podcast is called The No Comfort Zone, Success and Motivation in the No Comfort Zone?
Yes.
What is one thing during conditioning, like when you know you have to do this type of exercise or you're going into exercise this way, you absolutely hate doing?
I hate doing bench press.
No kidding. And you're good at it though, right?
I don't think I am.
All right, why do you hate it so much?
It's really uncomfortable. I mean, I've never liked the position. Just pushing the bar up, and if you're lifting a lot on it, it can get really uncomfortable on your arms and your back. And especially if you're not sitting the right way on the bench, it can just get really uncomfortable.
So kind of like when you talk about golf, how you first started out with golf, you weren't necessarily that very good. It was kind of, maybe you were clumsy or unfamiliar with it, but now more and more repetitions, you're getting better at it. Do you think that'll be the same with your benching?
Yes, because I've only been going to conditioning for 2 months now, and every day there's a new class, and some day I don't go every day. So the weightlifting that we do, it's not bench press every time. So I think I've gotten to do bench press 4 times about the 3 months I've been there. So I would like to do that more so I can get better at it.
That's really the key to any success. Now, let's talk about this. About one of the podcasts I just did, I talked about, you need to show up with a written action plan. You need to show up on time, and you need to show up prepared. A month ago, we were in your room, and you have a dry erase board. Talk to the audience about what you've done with that dry erase board.
So I made sort of like a vision board, what I want to do, what my schedule needs to be, what do I want to accomplish. So one of the things that I want to accomplish is get better at golf, build muscle, spend more time with my family. And then I wrote down my schedule. I split up my dry erase board into 4 sections. I wrote my weekend schedule in one section, what I want to do on one section, my school schedule, and what I need to do from day to day, like check and see if I have any missing assignments for school because we switched to all online. So I do that, and then I write down all the time. I wrote down all the times for my meetings, so I have science at 10 to 12, or I have social studies from 11 to 1. I wrote down all of that.
All right, so you've got your success schedule written in your room that you look at daily. So you're doing conditioning, you got your golf ambition, and you're working on that. So what's the end result? Where do you want to take all this? Why are you working out so hard with conditioning that your grandfather signed you up for? You got the golf coach, you're doing these things, and you're able to afford to work in these areas with conditioning and with golf. Where are you looking to go with this?
So this year I wasn't able to, but I want to make it to state for Illinois because I think I have the right skill to make it to state, and I think I've trained hard enough and I've played long enough to make it to state for Illinois.
That's a really good positive affirmation you have. So, but let me ask you, Max, you were validated when you tried out for the team. Your grandfather ended up taking you to try out. You made the team, and tell me what happened there, and tell me what happened when you guys shot that one hole. Tell me about that.
Okay, so there was 10 kids on our team. 8 kids could go to the sectionals for my golf tournament, and there was 4 people actually who got picked for automatic, you had to be you were on the team, no doubt about it. The other kids who were not on the team automatically had to go play a hole and pretty much try out again to see who was playing for the sectionals team. And me and the other kids who were playing automatically got on the team. we teed up on the hole that we were playing just for fun, and it was a par 4, and I parred the hole.
And when that happened, what did that mean to you? Like, where did that put you in place with everybody else? And also, what was the age bracket of the other guys that you were playing against?
So the age bracket was, I was the only 6th grader, and they were all 8th graders. And it just made me feel really accomplished, like everything that I've worked for in golf, like finally paid off, I guess. I mean, it was just a really good moment.
Good. That's the good thing about it. And I think with you showing up with that action plan like you have in the dry erase board and what you're willing to do, you working out on yourself and getting your body physically ready for the demands of golf, and you practicing on the game of golf, the mental game of golf, not only the physical part of it, but I think you've got a real chance to do what you want to do, don't you?
Yes.
Here's another question for you. What we're going to do is we're going to wind this podcast down, but I wanted to say this, so I've seen Max go from when he was, most people won't know this, but when Max was born, he was in the NICU. He was in the ICU for a good 10 weeks. He had lung issues and he had every type of tube going in and out of his body. And we weren't sure if he was going to make it. But more importantly, we weren't sure what quality of life he would have. It was pretty scary. No one came out and said it, but it was a scary time. So we spent 10 weeks in the NICU. Because Max was born at 30 weeks, and then we had to do some developing in the NICU at Northwest Community Hospital in Arlington Heights. So, and now watching Max progress from the tiny little baby that he was with all those tubes to see where he's at now, Max is a very good young man. He's a really good student. He's a great friend to his friends. He's a good son. He's a great grandson to his grandparents. And in the end, I think we're going to see a lot more for Max Brzezowski. How do you feel about that, Max?
Very good.
That's all you want to say is very good. All right. So, listen, this was the interview with Max D. Brzezowski. And just for full disclosure, Max D. Brzezowski has a relative with the same name of Max. So with Max Daniel and with the name Max, it kind of comes about from two different ways. So, Max, glad to have you on the show. Before we go home, before we close out and say goodbye to our podcast fans, and thanks so much for listening, everybody out there in the No Comfort Zone land, here's another question I have. Max, I'm going to ask you two questions. Ready? What is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is Happy Gilmore with Adam Sandler.
Why is that?
Because it's about golf, and I love comedy, and he's one of my favorite actors.
There you go, Adam Sandler. You've just made an impact on my 11-year-old. Thanks for that, for Happy Gilmore. And thanks for making great movies, right, Max?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming in. And if you're looking to get coached up, and if you have any interest whatsoever in pursuing your hopes, your dreams, your goals, and your ambitions, do me a favor. Go to launchwithdan.com. It's an opportunity for me to work with you and put together a game plan where we can get you on the path to success. Until then, do me a favor, get outside of your comfort zone and live on purpose.
Say goodbye.
Want more of the No Comfort Zone? You can follow Dan on Instagram and Twitter at No Comfort Zone 1.
Bye.
Or on the web at thenocomfortzone.com.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the No Comfort Zone podcast.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.